And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those lovely duct tapes. Hope you stretched your roaches, hydrated your hydras, and massaged all your marines, because we are here in the second half of the tournament, and I am no longer alone. I'm joined by the one, the only, the casting cat himself, the AsherBro.
Oh, I want more coffee. I'm dying, puppy. It's over.
Oh, Asher, you're a distorted, deep voice again. Oh,
come on.
It's all good. It's all good. But yes, I'm no longer alone. I'm going to be joined here by one of the other lovely members of the Cranky Ducklings. It is going to be AsherBro, giving us a more Terran perspective here on some of these maps. And we've already had some amazing games. We've already had some very unique maps that were crazy. Actually wild. And I can't wait to share this experience with you, Yaku. With Asher. Oh, all you Terran players. You're all the same. Oh, he's gone. So it looks like we have some technical issues. So it looks like we're gonna just need a moment here to really set things up. But it's all good. We have some. Oh. Hello. Oh, I can't hear you, Papi. I can't hear you. Oh.
It's okay. I think I fixed it.
Oh, okay. We're good, Papi. We're good.
It's not a good fix, but it's a fix.
It's fine. It works. It works. Are you using a different mic?
No.
Okay.
It's just decided that it does this now.
Okay, fair enough. But hello, welcome, Asher, welcome. And I'm curious if you experienced any of these new maps. I know Migs has been. He didn't just make a YouTube video. He was actually streaming earlier today as well. Some of the judging process of the TLMC. Have you had a bit of a gander at some of these other maps?
I haven't. If I'm being completely honest, I'm avoiding looking at the new maps because they're going to be smudged enough when they hit ladder without having to see like 5 times as many of them. I don't know. I think this is a recent thing, but I really don't like new maps.
Don't like new maps? Oh my god.
I can't stand them.
What do you mean?
We saw a few. Last time when we casted the...
Yeah.
I can't remember what the event was called, but last time that we casted new maps, I would say like 30% of them were really cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Which is a lot higher than I expected.
Yeah. You're coming in here like, oh, all these new maps, they're smudged, Papi. What are you talking about? We had a good time, Papi.
Yeah, I know what's going to happen. You can't... Look, what happens is you see ones that you like, you fall for them, you think it's going to be okay, and then all the ones that suck get on ladder.
Yaku, sorry, Ash. I said that's the second time I said it.
What is going on?
We haven't casted in years, Papi. We haven't casted in years.
Oh my god.
I can only have enough room for one Terran in my life, okay? Oh god. I was about to say that, Asher, you know, is life really worth living if you don't take chances, if you don't take risks, and you don't allow yourself to feel and fall in love with some new maps, you know? Like, otherwise...
Yes.
Oh.
That's about winning. Winning every game.
Otherwise, you're just smudging, Pop. You're just smudging. You know, you gotta open yourself up. Open up for me, Papi. Oh.
Alright, go on then.
Let's go. So we're gonna be diving into our first game here of our fresh series. It is gonna be Astrea versus Ziomek. Are you with me, Papi?
Oh no, we get spoiled for what he rolled.
Oh, true. Oh my god. Oh, right, I should fix that. So for those wondering, Astrea did something very special for this tournament. He decided to play random for every game. Oh boy. And we were talking about this earlier, but random isn't something that he's kind of new to. Like, he has been competing as random before, especially in some of these online weekly tournaments, and he's willing to do it here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And on a different map, so there's just all sorts of different variables coming into this one. Going to be a bit stressful for this player in the top left-hand corner as well, not knowing who he's up against. It is Blaze's Ziomek.
And Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of not Jagannatha, but Maganatha, we have the American Protoss player. Currently rolling as random instead, representing Alpha X. It is Astrea. And Asher, this map is huge, it's massive, it's insane. This is not the first time I think we've casted this map in every single series so far. We've even gotten some later ZVTs on it as well, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Alright, tell me about what you've noticed. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I mean, the game may not last that long because Astrea's going for a proxy gate. God damn it. As Ziomek is going for a gate expand setup as well. He's crazy, Papi. Oh my god. So the game itself is about to pop off, but a couple of things that we did notice, of course, were we have pretty similar goal bases in the center of the map, kind of like altitude. The map itself is large, but despite it being large, there are actually a lot of choke points here. There's a lot of, like, because of the terrain setup, there's a lot of kind of maneuverability here that can be taken advantage of. There's also an absurd amount of towers. There are so many towers all over the place that you can knock down just to help out with that sort of thing. I was kind of theorizing that similarly to another map that we saw, where if all the rocks and all the towers get cleaned up, then maybe it's going to be a little bit more wide open. But I do think that, like, these little, like, you know, non-destructible towers and, like, these like areas or these things in the middle of the map do kind of lead to, yeah, more positional play that can be utilized. And we actually saw that earlier. We were casting Mixer versus Nickeract, and Nickeract looked pretty damn good on this map.
Yeah, okay. It's a little hard to tell. There's actually not that many bases for how big the map is. And yeah, the gold bases are very exposed as well. I think the main thing that makes the gold bases, I mean, normally a gold base is fantastic for Zerg, but on this map in particular, there's just so much terrain behind them that I actually think it's going to be pretty hard for a Zerg to take this gold. Yeah.
I was thinking a very similar thing when it comes to things like Liberators and drop play and tanks as well. Meanwhile, the proxy gate is getting underway, and we already have 2 zealots into the main base of Ziomek. Because Ziomek went for the low ground wall here, he was having a hard time defending. He's going to be losing some of these stalkers, and Astrea is doubling down, by the way. He's going for a proxy Stargate as well.
Yeah, this is real dirty. Astrea pulling out, like, all the dirty tricks, going random and just proxying everything. Pretty disgusting, not gonna lie.
Yeah. You like it, don't you?
No, not really. This is a bit much. This is like, I don't know, this is like why people hate random, and it probably shouldn't really be a thing. But, you know, fair play to him. It's a tournament. I presume there's a bit of money on the line.
Yeah, definitely, as the Stalkers are looking to try and shut down the proxy gateway. Ziomek, unfortunately, has very limited scouting information and hasn't been able to get eyes on that Stargate. The Oracle dives in, but thankfully there is a shield battery.
Yeah, shield battery there. Oh, but he doesn't see the stasis trap. Oh, that is just disastrous. He loses his entire mining mineral line, and that might just be that, like that, because Astrea is way too good a player to let a lead like that slip. Behind this, he is going for his own expansion, which is around the same time as that of Ziomek's, but he also has a robo, which is fascinating.
Yeah, so he went for 1 proxy gates into a cybercore, into a proxy stargate, into a robo. So he has no gateway production right now because his gateway's depowered. So he's just pumping out immortals and oracles as we speak. Astrea just going full NA, pop. Full NA. Let's go.
Yeah, so it's going to be Adepts and Oracles just diving the mineral line. There's just barely anything here for Ziomek to defend, so the Oracles are going to be getting so much damage. He does decide to be a bit more conservative with them and just maintain a bit of energy, a bit of hull. And behind this, he is, just going up into Immortals. I wouldn't even mind adding Phoenixes to this. This could be a really interesting way to play that out once he gets his economy running a bit more.
For sure. I can definitely see that happening. As Astrea, I like how he still hasn't thrown down any more gateways. He's just making Immortals and Void Rays, just going for like a mech style of PvP here, just mass high-tech units, and that's it.
Yeah, it reminds me actually, well, I think he laughed a little bit when I suggested Phoenix, because it does look like the Roddy Phoenix Immortal in a little bit, the setup that he's gone for here. Just 1 gate straight into Stargate Robo.
Yeah. Maybe Astrea has been tuning into some of those Roddy streams, and he's been inspired. As again, he's just so far ahead economically. Ziomek struggling to keep up. He does have Blink on the way for his Stalkers, but it's still not even halfway done, just because of all the chaos that's been happening, just because of all the economic damage that's been dealt.
Yeah, exactly. And Blink is a pretty adventurous way to go about this as well. He has no robo, so it feels like he's really gambling on the fact that Astrea won't be all inning. And oh my god, Astrea's gone for a second robo. He is really looking to put on a show.
Oh my god. Double robo production going on right now for Astrea. He does come out with a probe, and he's going to be repowering that one gateway that he has. Does he even have warp gate? Okay, he does have warp gate at least. So he can start
I don't think he needs it, to be honest.
He doesn't. It's going to be warping in one unit at a time, as he's going to be pushing forward, laying siege upon this natural base. And Ziomek, especially because he doesn't have a ramp, he has a really awkward time defending here.
I actually kind of wonder why he did get warp gate.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just in case he gets all in or something, he could throw down extra gateways, and he would have warp gate ready, but I don't think he's actually going to end up using it, as it's going to be Immortals and Void Rays here. This is such a weird way to go about this, but it's incredibly strong against Blink Stalkers. It makes me think of, this is kind of like the defense that you do against a 4-gate Blink attack when you're playing 1-gate Expand.
Yeah. It's just really weird, because this is the defense you go for, but he's using it aggressively. Like,
Yeah, just pure anti-stalker. And it does mean that we're not going to get to see this map at all.
It does, unfortunately. We can see Astrea, he's looking to maybe actually take the bottom left-hand corner base, the goal base even. When it comes to other features of this map as well, we do have some speed zones towards the top right-hand corner as well. You know, very quote-unquote Jagannatha-esque. I think it's meant to be like an homage to that. I don't know.
Right.
Likewise, I don't know if you noticed, but the center bases, as soon as I saw that, I could see the late game ZVP. I could see it all.
Can you drop on this platform in the center?
I don't believe so. That would be insane if you could. But it does look like it, actually. It does.
I want that. The Thunderdome.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same as this Overlord pillar over here, so it's probably just going to behave like that. But yeah, these are... It's interesting. Definitely interesting. Seems a bit strong for Terran and Protoss, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. Which is, not necessarily a bad thing. As we do see the Void Rays and the Immortals powering on through, the low ground wall has been knocked down. The next side as well. Boys are being pulled. Ziomek going for his last stand.
Wow, GG, the mass Immortal mass Void Ray gets it done.
GG, well played. And Astrea will be taking a lead in this series with his random. Oh boy. And I think the other big thing that kind of slipped my mind as well, because I'm like, oh, it's a PvP. Why is Ziomek going for the low ground? It's because it's random. Like, he didn't know it wasn't safe to do so. Like, yeah.
That's so dirty.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you have to go for the low ground there, which, yeah, I mean, you got punished for it. It's not exactly fair. It's going to be a tough PvP as it is.
Yeah. Astrea just not holding back, just taking full advantage of that random. And oh boy, now we're getting ready for game number 2, and Bappy, we get to experience this map together, because this is a map that I haven't seen yet. This tournament.
Yeah, okay, let's get into it.
It's our first time, Bappy. It is a map made by someone called Dahuska. Called Umojan Facility. Oh my god.
Emergent. I got the Emergent skins on my units.
Oh, Emergent. Oh, is that a thing?
Skin.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like really kind of bubbly and medic sort of themed.
Yeah, like sci-fi, scientific. That's it.
Yeah. As spawning here in the top right-hand corner for Blazer, it is a Ziomek.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Umojan Facility, it is the American, usually the American Protoss player, but rolling random and rolling Zerg. For Alpha X, it is Astrea.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing that a little bit too. This can happen with new maps, and usually if they do make it through to the latter stage, they will be QA tested on potato computers, and if they can't run, they have to have features removed. I remember famously, actually, Yamatai was a map that looked like it was gonna be a ladder map and was really pretty, and basically they just had to ransack it to get it to run on the low QA computers.
Yeah.
And it didn't really work out.
And I can see why. I don't know what graphical settings you're playing on, but do you see the lights all over the map? You can look at the natural, I guess, if you want. But there are like pulsating lights on the ground, on the white strips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just throughout the entire map.
I was just looking at the look at that overlord. There's a little Ewok party in the middle.
Oh, let's go. Oh, they're so happy. They're eating someone. But yeah, there's a lot of graphical effects going on here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they would have to tone that down a little bit. But once again, for the first time, we're jumping into this map, and I'm getting some vibes from some of the previous maps we got. The layout here is really quirky, especially kind of like going out of the natural. It's yeah, there's a lot happening.
Yeah, nothing's jumping out at me right away at this being a huge issue. Yeah, I think there's enough at the triangle third here blocking easy access to this ramp that it's not going to be a complete nightmare to get sieged there. And the main's big enough that, at least for Terran, you're not going to have to build your buildings right near the edge. For Protoss, might be a little bit awkward walling this jump just because it's so wide, but it is a double jump, so it's risky for a Reaper to jump up there. For ZVP, such a big map. I always find these areas around the sides where there's not bases really strange. I'm not sure if I've actually had one in the ladder pool recently.
Yeah, it's strange because it's like it feels like there's a lot of things devoted to that area, but we don't really know how much or if that's ever really going to come into play. Like we've got like side blockers, for example, which I guess will help out with like proxies. So in the top left and bottom right, those are like prime, like I don't know, like proxy dark shrine locations, for example, and stuff like that. I can definitely see that happening. What else do we have here? We have a couple of other pathways as well. We have a lot of dead space. I think more so than any other map we've seen so far today, there's a lot of dead space outside of the main, behind the natural, and in between the bases as well. Some of the others have been a lot more narrow.
I don't think it's too much of a problem though, just because there's so much you still have to transfer through a lot of, especially in the main, because it pushes up right against the edge. Even if you can get yourself into these awkward dead spaces, you still have to like go across a lot of places that you can be attacked from to get back to the dead space. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I do think that it would be worse here if the main base wasn't right up against the edge of the map. So that does help out when it comes to like defending against any kind of Widowmine drops and stuff like that, for example. I would imagine. Yeah,
I think it just means things that are just like sitting in there waiting are not going to be as annoying. This kind of top base area is very weird. I feel like, gee, that's so close. I don't know if it's just that the base layout is different to what we're used to, but between the main and the base slightly above it for Ziomek, it's just a very strange layout. Like I feel like it's very easy to bounce between these bases. I guess you just don't take it, but then the line base is so far away.
Yeah. The bottom left is way out of. It's just there's no way to really take that early on, and we have the center kind of base as well.
I guess you can spend centrally, but then you get these front 5 bases. The other thing that I find a bit weird about this map, it might not matter just because it's so far out of the way, but there's just so many paths. I usually prefer when there's this many run-by paths for there to be a watchtower. Just because for something like Zerg or for Zealot run-bys or something like that, there's just so many paths that the links can be coming from. I don't think you can really account for all of them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like towards the north and towards the south, there's just so many different ways that run-bys can slip by. And for there not to be a Zonaga, even like one in like towards the north at least, is kind of crazy.
Yeah, you can even see it now. Ziomek's just having a really hard time covering all the different angles that links can be coming in from right now.
Yeah, the Lings, they do go for that mass surround as well. The Oracle a little bit out of position. One of them was across the map getting some economic damage done, but these Lings are getting out of hand.
Yeah, Australia using this aggression with the Lings as well to be quite greedy behind this is going into that +1 melee, getting that 4th base pretty quickly as well. We'll be looking at spread creep all throughout this central area. And yeah, we can already see as well, I feel like this triangle base as well is going to make the main very abusable by air. I could see Oracles kind of bouncing between these two bases, which I really like the placement of Australia's spore because of that, but it's still going to be annoying.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, thankfully, it looks like one of the oracles did go down, so it doesn't have to worry too much about that for the timing. The other oracle is just stuck back at home. We see a pretty standard setup here. Ziomek is going into Blink, into +1, as we would expect, off of a Stargate opener. Just has to make sure he minimizes his losses here. And I'm really curious to see what kind of 4th base he takes. I guess he does take the, the linear 4th next to his natural.
Or he just doesn't take a 4th. I mean, he's set up to go for a 3-base Colossus all in right now.
He's
got 2 Robos now.
Yeah, he's got his 2 Robos, going to be pumping out 2 Colossi at a time. We've got a Gateway Explosion coming up as well for Ziomek. And Astrea is just looking to, try to assert himself on the map here. His economy is looking okay. He's actually double expanding as we speak.
Yeah, Astrea looking to swallow up the entire map, and it's a really big map as well. I can see that that'll be quite nice for Zerg, especially with how spread out the bases are. And one thing that I'm noticing as well for Protoss and Terran, ideally, I think what you would like to be doing is taking the 6 o'clock base and then walling that off, but it's actually a really wide wall off, so that makes it a bit difficult.
Yeah, it does seem like it would take a lot to actually properly wall that off, but I guess it would be better than the alternative, which would be, I guess, trying to expand towards the north instead, and you may end up spreading yourself a little bit too thin.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see it being very awkward to get set up on 5 bases here, just because, I mean, imagine as Terran, you get pulled down to this southern area to defend this Theox, and then they rotate up towards the top.
Yeah.
It's just so awkward to bounce between all these different bases.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So I guess it would have to, I think it just has to be the central base, and then we expand bottom left, or even... Yeah,
I don't mind that plan. Although, even then, you could get like 360 surrounded in the middle.
The bottom left also looks brutal. Look at it. There's like 5 entryways in, especially if you take down the rocks. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that northern ramp. Yeah, that's so long. That's so weird. You don't normally see like entrances protruding out like that.
That's what I mean. Like earlier, like the layout of the bases and the pathways. It's just so, it's like obtuse arts or like abstract art sort of thing.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to see it now. Astrea is actually playing Mass Ling, which I think is wild, but it's going to give us a really good understanding of how this map works, because you can just see how freely he's able to move between all these different bases and how awkward it is for Ziomek to organize himself. In fact, Ziomek's just going to ignore this. He realizes this is all Lings. He has 4 Colossus. If he can just simplify this game. But no, he changes his mind. He's going for a recall. He's going to recall on top of the Lings. That is wild, but I think he might just have enough. Astrea is going to try to focus fire down the Colossus. And here we see a massive surround coming in, but he doesn't want to pull the trigger. Oh, it looks like bad pathing there for Astrea, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this is kind of the downside of what Astrea is going for, is that he is going Mass Ling, and with the power of 4 Colossus, now 3 to be fair, Ziomek can kind of aim it. Like, there's not really much slowing him down. There's no Roach Ravager as a backbone. There's no Hydras or Lurkers behind this either. We do have a lot of Banelings on the way, and that is going to be a little bit scary here. But at the same time, the run-bys from Astrea, because of that map, once again, going to be buying him some time.
Yeah, this looks so awful to deal with. Ziomek, where his prism is pretty much the one safe area of the entire map, and it's just nowhere near any of his bases.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, now that the Ling Rumbai has been dealt with, Ziomek can focus on his push. His economy's in the dumps. He's got around half the worker count of Astrea, but again, Astrea is still committed. He refuses to throw down any tech. He is committed to just pure Ling Bane.
Yeah, Astrea's having some problems here just because he's so low on gas. He's only been on, well, he's only on 4 gases at this stage, so he is struggling to get enough gas to build up a massive Bane count and just completely roll over Ziomek. But I do think it's just going to be very hard for Ziomek to find himself anywhere on this map where he isn't completely exposing himself to either a massive run-by or a huge surround. It's just a really awkward map to traverse here, and you can see that Astrea here, he's just setting himself up in such a way that he has so many options for how he wants to approach this.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Ling Bane in the middle, towards the top left, towards the bottom right as well. The 360 surround is imminent, and unfortunately, Ziomek, he hasn't warped in any sentries. Force fields could help him a lot, especially because we actually have quite a lot of choke points to take advantage of here at the triangular third base location, but there are no sentries, no force fields. He's going to be relying on stalkers, on his Archons as well.
Yeah, here we go. We are going to be seeing a big surround coming in. The Stalker's going to be blinking on top of those Banes to protect those Colossus, but there is just the most insane amount of units here from Astrea. There is no finesse to this. He is just rolling over the entire Protoss army.
He is. He gets on top of everything. It looks like 1-2 Colossus barely survive, but Ziomek was all in. He has no economy. He lost all of his workers earlier. He had to end the game with what he has, and Astrea is even making... Oh, he's doing the Zerg thing. He's making the Toka Swarm host.
He's a real Zerg now. He's like, look, I'm one of you. He did it on purpose.
There you go, mate. There you go. As the Ling Bane run-bys, they just don't stop, and Ziomek is down to 2 Colossi. He's making a couple of Archons as well. Finally, we're taking up a little bit further. We're throwing down an Ultra Cavern for Astrea.
That's so gross. You can see that this army of Ziomek, even though he's setting up in a place that kind of makes sense, he's just off in Narnia here. Astrea has so much time to do his run-bys, so much time to make decisions here. And Ziomek, he is going to threaten this base. He's probably going to take it down as well, but it's really not the end of the world. I mean, Astrea can just transfer to one of his other bases. He still has plenty of Ling Bane, good amount of Queens, and Ultras are going to be on the way in before too long.
Exactly, he's going to be pushing on forward here, and the final Colossi goes down. The Archons stand strong, and Ling Bane have a harder time dealing with them, but the Archons, they are quite isolated. They are on their own. +3 melee just kicked in, adrenal glands as well, and we have that one Swarm host. Oh!
Yeah, Astrea having the off-race moment with these Archons where he's like, these are actually kind of broken, but no, he does find a good time to take the fight. Once +3 finishes up, those Archons going to be going down. We now have 3 Zealots and 1 Archon as the army for Ziomek.
Oh, let's go, Papi, let's go. We're pushing on forward. We have a Prism as well to micro and control, which means he can keep these units alive, as Astrea has 0 anti-air. But here we go. We just see another base going to be going down. Astrea, he goes for run by to try to take down the third base, but he finds no third, as it wasn't rebuilt.
Yeah, and Astrea finds himself in a slightly awkward position now. I think he will be fine with the Ultras, but it's got a bit closer than I thought it might.
Yeah, again, we do see Ziomek was able to trade pretty efficiently. Like, if he had a third base behind this, he could probably win the game. But alas, he doesn't. You know, he only has a handful of units to work with here. He can't warp in anything else. He's trying to desperately, and he's breaking these bases of Astrea. But I don't know how he deals with the Ultras. They're on the way.
Yeah, and I mean, meanwhile, the Lings are ransacking the base back at home, and there's just not enough money to even warp in a Zealot or 2 to deal with this. So Astrea's going to be taking his time. The Ultras come in, and they're going to be taking out every single Zealot. He does run away from those last couple of Archons. But with that, I think the Queens should be able to push away the Prism. The Ultras should be able to deal with the Archons, and that should just about be it for Ziomek's chances in this game.
Yeah, exactly. He did a lot of damage with his push, don't get us wrong, took down a lot of bases, traded efficiently, but alas, he was on a timer. He's trying to micro his heart out here with these 2 Archons, but that is really all he has. He has 5 probes back at home. 5.
Yeah, I mean, there's another Archon back at home as well. There's an Archon and a Zealot, and an Oracle. I don't know where that Oracle came from, but it's full energy, so I think he might have forgotten about it.
Yo, shout out to Ziomek, the discipline. No F2A. Didn't have
True.
Maybe he should have, though, because that Oracle actually would have been pretty cracked back at home.
Yeah, I mean, these Lings are just running circles around Ziomek either way. Looks like the last few probes going to be going down now. In fact, the last probe did go down. There's 2 more in production, and that's all that we have.
That is all she wrote. Astrea, we do see 2 more High Templar being morphed in the middle of the map. We're going to be going for 1 more Archon. 1 last-ditch effort here from Ziomek. But now we have Infestors on the way from Astrea. We also have Pathogen Glands, so we can fungal.
Why is he making Infestors?
To lock down the Prism, obviously, so the Queens can kill it. There we go.
Did he forget that they...
Oh, that's not
wait, what's going on with these rocks? What the hell is that?
He just phased through the rocks. That was not that was not meant to be.
What?
I think we just found a bug.
It's not even a small gap.
Yeah,
Bloody Archons
there's
came
no-
through.
there's no
I mean, I guess
gap.
Archons are... They're Jenny Craig Archons now, but still.
Like, even if the Archons suck it in, they shouldn't be able to pass through that.
Alright, GG. Astrea rolls Zerg on the Zerg map. Let's go.
GG, well played. Astrea does take the 2-0 here as he did roll random. Got Zerg on a map that worked quite well for him. Things looked a little bit dicey for a moment though, as we saw. Like, he was taking a lot of losses himself. But it was the counterattacks that were really winning him that game. Like, Ziomek just had a really hard time keeping up with that.
Yeah, 100%. And with that, I believe that's Astrea getting the 2-0 in their series.
Yeah, he does take the 2-0. He moves on to the next round to face a player that we have been following throughout this tournament. Astrea moves on to face Mixu.
Alright, so it's going to be a random versus Zerg. This should be a really interesting matchup, and we'll be able to get a bit of a different perspective on the maps as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is the map that I wanted you to see. Here we go. Again, Astrea is still... I should fix that on the thing here. There we go. Astrea is rolling random for those who are unawares. Mixu was having some success earlier. We saw him take down Nicaract in a very solid best of 3. But now he faces one of the best players in North America.